Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna, and this is my mom Gina.
He is a journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I'm enthusiastic because we're welcoming people into our home.
Yes.
Into the sports cave of our home.
A little bit different scenery for us today,
Yes.
as our show is called OTD, On the Deck.
Right.
We're not on the deck today because our deck is actually a construction zone due to the fact that our roof is getting repaired.
We got to get a brand new roof.
So, yes.
Yes.
We had to move the show inside, even though it is beautiful outside today.
And speaking of which, you've made me be outside in the rain,
Yes.
in blizzards, and in thundering heat.
Yep.
And here we are today, a beautiful day inside the house.
Sweltering heat, thunderstorms, snow.
Everything, but now we're in the house. But you know what? But let me give a little shout out to these roofers because we're in a finished basement. This is our sports cave. You can see I've got the Husker clock behind me.
K-State pennant here, Chiefs billboard.
If we took the camera around this basement, you will see nothing but sports pictures. Some cheer pictures from your sister, and then we got
football,
K-State banners, everything, all this the whole basement.
Mizzou, K-State.
That being said, we have a finished basement, so it means our house is a little elevated,
Right.
and then we have a 2-story house. So these guys on the roof are skywalking up there, like it's pretty high.
Yes.
I keep waiting to make sure nobody falls off the roof, and you're gonna see somebody pass one of the windows.
Yeah,
That's not even funny. I was just like,
they're up there, up there.
They're up there.
There's some brave men, exactly.
Kudos and thank you to those guys.
Yes, exactly. Well, we are inside today, so that's okay. But we're still going to do our show.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the college football week 3 kind of update and give you kind of a little just review of what happened last week, and we're going to talk about our matchups that we picked a little bit as well.
Yes, let's talk about that.
And then we're going to break down kind of the new top 25 from the AP poll and then the USA Today as well. But you went 2-2 just for the record, and I went 0-4.
2-2.
So
0-4.
yes. You see how happy she is about that. So
well, if you watch the pro picks that we do, because we do the NFL as well,
yes.
I got he beat me there, so I got to rub it in there.
Hey, look, these games were all close matchups. Besides only one for the most part, everybody else was right in there, and so let's talk about the big one: Clemson and Louisville. Louisville's really kind of a one-man team right now with Mr. Jackson, Lamar Jackson. He is still, to me, one of the Heisman favorites. I like them a lot. I just thought that maybe if they could kind of come away with a win there, they would really elevate their status, but they just were overmatched, and it just goes to show how good Clemson is.
For the record, he picked Louisville, I picked Clemson. Then we had USC, Texas. I actually picked USC, and you picked UT.
I did pick Texas, and that went to double overtime, and that was a great game.
Man, they need to make sure USC and Texas play every year. I don't care how good or bad either of those teams are, because that is always a team. And then, of course, we had K-State and Vanderbilt. We both picked K-State.
One possession game there
was one, and then the Tennessee-Florida game was just one,
Hail Mary
right at the end.
And just it was a close game. It was close. So
it was very close.
That's kind of how our predictions for those games went. Again, most of those games were really close. The only difference was the Clemson-Louisville game got
a little bit out of hand, but
it was a good one to watch.
Well, the other thing we talked about was, I said last week was the cupcake week, because you had all these top 25 teams playing, for the most part, unranked teams.
Sure.
You had a few matchups. The Louisville-Clemson was a top 25 matchup. But you had some Alabama. Somebody played Mercer.
Yeah.
There were some cupcake games. But you said, I want to give you credit, since I was right on the wins and you were 0-4. So I wanted to give you some credit, is what you said. I said these were cupcake matches, and what you said was these were the gotcha matches.
Yes.
And that happened.
That did happen.
Even outside of the top 25, there were some teams that got.
They got, yes, exactly. And one of those games was the Nebraska-Northern Illinois game that you looked at the schedule and you're like, okay, yeah, Northern Illinois is a scrappy team, but hey, that's going to be a win for Nebraska, especially after the loss to Oregon. And they got. Nebraska got.
They got.
Yes, and so
Vanderbilt got K-State.
They did, and so there were some other games out there. I was talking about the Michigan Air Force game.
Yes.
Initially,
You did say that.
It was very close. Now it ended up spreading out a little bit towards the end, but Air Force is no slouch, and it was a lot of those types of games where, yeah, you had a couple of the Mercers, but for the most part, it was teams that could compete with just about anybody else in the country. And so, therefore, it was
Mississippi State got LSU too.
They did,
and when we say gotcha, it was 37-7.
Right,
like that's a got game.
Surprise! Dak Prescott doesn't play for Mississippi State
No,
anymore.
they don't. And I was sleeping on them.
So was I. I didn't expect that to happen. So. That was kind of now it wasn't complete upset city, but it was kind of one of those situations where on paper you could say, yeah, these could probably be walkover games, but for the most part, they were pretty competitive all throughout the weekend.
You know, the lesson of that are two things. One, there's parity all across college football. Any team can get anybody. And number two, if you look at the schedule and you're like, oh, I'm not watching this game, you might be missing out on a really good game.
Right.
Because some of these teams that come in underrated or nobody's choosing them are swinging for the fences. Northern Illinois came into Lincoln Memorial Stadium on Tom Osborne Field and won.
Yes, they did.
So
yes, they did.
Get the remote in your hand, folks. Don't miss any games.
And that's why we love college football.
That is why you do love college football.
Period. Well, let's talk about the rankings here. We're going to talk about the AP, and then we're going to talk about the USA Today polls.
Perfect.
I'll go through the top 10. You go through the next 10, and then I'll.
All right, we'll get it started.
All right, so for the AP, they've got Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Penn State, USC, Oklahoma State, UW, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio State.
And also on the AP, number 11 is Georgia, 12 is Florida State, 13 is Virginia Tech, 14 is Miami, 15 is Auburn, 16 is TCU, 17 is Mississippi State, 18 is Washington State, 19 is Louisville.
Yeah, and then 20 to round us out there is Florida, South Florida, San Diego State, Utah, Oregon, and then LSU.
And they kept LSU in the top 25. This is the AP poll.
Even with that bad loss, they still are hanging in there for the AP. Yes.
Now, the poll I think is very interesting is this USA Today poll because there's a little shocker going on in there.
Yeah, there is some surprising teams now kind of moved up. And so Clemson, they have put as the number 1 team
Come
over
on,
Alabama.
Tigers.
They left Oklahoma at number 3. Then you've got Oklahoma State making a jump up to number 4. USC State at 5. Now Penn State is at number 6. Then you've got Florida State hanging around there in the top 10 at number 7. And then you've got Georgia at number 8. Then you've got TCU jumping up to number 9. And then you've got Wisconsin at number 10.
Well, USA Today has Washington at number 11. They've got Michigan at number 12. They have Ohio State at 13.
Right.
Then they've got Mississippi State jumping up at number 14, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yes.
Tech is at 15. Miami at 16.
Yep.
Then they've got Washington State at 17. San Diego State, another one interesting. They've got sitting at 18.
Yep.
Notre Dame, again, was out of there at number 19. And then Oregon is sitting at number 20.
Right. And then they've got Memphis at 21. Big win over UCLA. Utah at 22. Vanderbilt, again, beating K-State, jumped up to 23. Toledo, a MAC school, jumping up to 24. And then Maryland, with that big win against Texas week 1, is now ranked at 25.
And you know who, in the USA Today poll, LSU is out.
Right.
University of South Florida is out. They dropped Louisville out. They dropped Auburn out, and they dropped K-State out. Now, they're all still in the top 30, 31, 35, but they're out of the top 25.
Right.
So I think that's really interesting that's where USA Today went versus the AP/coaches poll.
Right. And this is going to fluctuate until we get to the Final Four, but it's just kind of where we're at right now, and so it is what it is.
But I do think what is interesting is, we rank the top 25 because you're trying to get into better bowl games. But if you're trying to get in the Final Four, you got to be moving up the ladder. You can't be moving down. You certainly can't be getting dropped off from people. So these wins do matter. Speaking of surprises, did you pick that Memphis-UCLA game?
I did. I picked Memphis to win that game against UCLA. I think Josh Rosen is a really good quarterback. I think he's going to continue to kind of keep UCLA relevant. But Jim Mora is on the hot seat going into the season. They pulled it out against A&M that first week. And so that really was what kept his job. But I think losing to Memphis made it a lot more apparent that, hey, maybe they need to do some changes with the head coach.
I would like. I mean, I don't ever want to call for somebody's job, but
Right.
I'm over Mora.
Right.
I'm over Jim. He needs. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well,
So
we'll see.
I mean, this is what makes college football fun.
Right.
Anybody can get anybody on any given day. Now Mercer probably wasn't gonna get Alabama, but you never know.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
never know.
Right. Well, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Type in my name, Adam Orduna. Like our Facebook page. Type in OTD. Follow my mom Gina on Twitter and myself. And we want to say we'll see you again, folks. Thanks for watching.